Hello, happy Monday. This is Lynn, and it is Weigh-In Monday, July 14th, 2025. And I've just completed 112 weeks on the carnivore diet, and I'm excited to be here today and share my results. What's been going on the last week? It has been kind of busy. We've still been looking for property because we're looking to move out into the country and find a place that has, separate living units so that my daughter and son-in-law can live on the property with us. And so I think we have once again found a place. We had found a place before that we liked, but it was just a little bit more than we thought it was worth. Well, we found another place, and this one we think it is definitely worth what they're asking for it. And it's a bit of a project because these people have, it's just a very interesting place. It's very large. It's like 5,200 square feet of just lots and lots of rooms, big house, and like multiple living areas, all with, it's like we call it the compound, but it's just going to be a project, and it's on about 6 acres, and we're going to need to, build a chicken coop, and there's a bunch of work to be done. So if we end up getting this house, I will probably be filming as we're working on it, and it has a lot that needs to be done in order to get it to be like our style. But that's okay, because honestly, 2 years ago, I would have never been able to even imagine doing something like this. I couldn't even really get off of the couch or off of my recliner. So it's pretty exciting that I actually feel like, okay, now I finally have some stamina and I have some energy and I have the physical ability to tackle this. And of course, it wouldn't be by myself, of course. And we've got my daughter and son-in-law, but every surface in this house needs to be painted. Like literally one of the bedrooms, not only is it purple, but the ceiling is purple. Like, whoa, they painted whatever they painted each room, and none of them are the same, literally. They would take a lighter version of that color, and that's what they paint the ceiling. So every room is different, and not only that, but every room like has different flooring practically. It's going to be a project, but it's a good deal for the property. So, and it also has income already as part of it. So they have people that they've got a couple of large RV covered areas, and one of them has a unit attached to it that has a shower and a toilet and a sink and a laundry facility. And so they're actually earning money already off of those, and they have people that are actually paying them rent and living there. So that would automatically come over to us. So that's cool. And there's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment on the top floor that we can rent out and bring in more income. And still, even with that, there's like 5 bedrooms for us. So it's pretty cool. So we're going to find out. We're probably going to put an offer in on it later this week. We have still a little bit more work to get our house ready to list and put on the market. So lots and lots of stuff to do. Plus Friday, we are heading to, first Chicago. We're going to fly into Chicago and probably spend a couple days there. And then we're going to be heading into Wisconsin, and we're going to be staying at Kerry and Jen's Airbnb. And the big air show in Oshkosh is going on next week. And so we want to go there. Coach Lisa is going to be coming in the middle of the week. Dr. Kiltz is coming in, Dr. Nelson. And there's a whole group of us that Friday that are going to be going to the air show together. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then I'm sure Dave is going to want to go more than just one day during the week. And so at least he will go. And, so we'll be traveling. So I have learned the hard way not to bring my scale with me when I travel. So I think Kerry has a Renfo scale. So I don't know if I'll even try to maybe like jump on his scale to get some metrics. But if I don't have a scale, I can at least share some video. I'm going to be taking lots of video and photos and all of that from the trip and from everything. So there will be things that I can report on. So I'll try to report back, try to keep doing the Mondays. So there'll be 2 Mondays that I'll be traveling. So if I can't do weigh-ins, I will at least let you know how I'm doing. So one of my concerns is going into a different climate. With my mast cell activation syndrome, I never know for sure how I'm going to respond. Now, I found that in Arizona in January, that was great. No issues there because it was nice out and it was actually kind of warm, but it's dry. And it's a lot of people who have allergies and who tend to be reactive do better in Arizona, New Mexico, the drier climates. Now, Wisconsin, to my knowledge, is more humid. And so that's going to be a bit of a test. I have looked at the weather forecast and it doesn't look like it's going to be crazy, crazy hot. But with humidity, of course, it's going to feel a little hotter than it really is. So we're going to see how I do. If I have to be careful, then I'm going to have to stay more in the air conditioning. But this is not the first time going into a humid climate since I've been carnivore. Last year, in June of 2024, I went to Hack Your Health, and where the whole Healing Humanity team, we were there. We stayed in a big Airbnb in Austin, Texas, and it was humid. It wasn't Texas's worst humidity because it was June. It wasn't like July, August yet, but it was still way more humid than I'm used to, and I actually did okay. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll do all right. We're going to spend, like I said, the first couple of days we're probably going to spend in Chicago and do some touristy stuff there. I'm really looking forward to going on this boat tour, riverboat tour. It's an architectural tour. And I'm just watching the weather before I book because I want to see if I can coordinate it, hopefully, to avoid any thunderstorms because I see that there are some in the forecast. So I'll keep everybody posted on how that goes. But as far as this week, how I feel, like I have continued to just not take any electrolytes. I've only been taking a few supplements, the ones that I take for my MCAS, but I have been taking a little more vitamin C. I found that I actually feel better when I take vitamin C. And so I've been taking a little bit more of that. We have been dealing with Max, who has had a colitis flare. So that has definitely kept me busy. Oh my gosh, we were so concerned for him. This dog, he puts us through the emotional roller coaster, but he had actually a really bad colitis flare. Like stuff was coming out of him that, like, I could show a picture, but I'm not going to. I'm going to spare you. But it was not pretty, and it was a lot of blood, and so we were a little concerned about him. And because the diet that the vet told us that he needs to be on is this digestive diet, he refuses to eat it. And if any of you have been with me for a while, you know that there was a while back several months ago where we thought we were going to have to put him down, and it turns out he was on a hunger strike because he would not eat the digestive food. But in order to keep his colitis under control and have him not bleeding out of his hind end, we got to do something. So this was the worst flare he's had. And so I went rummaging through all my doggy medications that we've accumulated after almost 2 decades of having dogs. And I found a little bottle from Ruby. You guys never got to meet Ruby. She was our little one. So you guys, if you've been here long enough, met Gracie, my dog that I had to put down October of 2023. And she sometimes was sitting on my lap when I was doing videos early on. She was my baby. And Max and Ruby were her babies. She had puppies. But we lost Ruby at age 10, too young. She had a big old tumor in her belly that grew so fast. And for a while, the vet had her on some prednisone. And so this was like 6.5 years ago. I never throw out medication. I figure, well, maybe someday, who knows? I don't care if it's expired, if it's even remotely good, I may give it a try on my dog. And so, yeah, I'm sure it was expired, but it was prednisone because she was on some at the end of her life, and we had 5 pills left over. And so I gave it to Max. And, being a GI nurse, I've I know how we treat Crohn's disease and a flare. You put them on prednisone, you put them on a taper. And so I just did the doggy version of a prednisone taper, and I only had 5 pills to work with. So we gave him 3 whole pills and then 4 half pills, tapered it off, and it worked beautifully. So I took him to the vet today, and we're going to do a more extended taper because he has like a rectal prolapse when he's got all this inflammation going on, and his rectum was popping out like that far when he would go number 2, and it would go back in. And the vet said, as long as it goes back in, we don't have to stitch it up. But with the prednisone, it was much better, but it was still coming out maybe that much. And so the vet today said, let's go ahead and start him back at the 5 milligrams. Let's do a week of that, a week at half dose, and then a week at half dose every other day. And then we're going to go a week without any. If he ends up bleeding again, we're going to put him on a low dose, just maybe for maintenance every other day. So that's the thing with Max. I know a lot of you know Max, especially during my plank challenge where he was constantly in the video. Oh my gosh, he's turning 17 next month. So I figure, look, this dog is on borrowed time. So whatever we have to do to keep him comfortable, to keep him from bleeding. And we just got new carpet in one of our rooms in anticipation of putting our house on the market. I do not want him bleeding on it. He's already put one spot on it and I cleaned it up. But when he's in a flare, he'll just sit down and he'll put blood on the carpet. So we've got pee pads all over the place. I've got my Bissell carpet cleaner. Anyways, I'm going on and on about the dog. But anyways, that's kind of what's been going on in my life. I've, of course, just still eating carnivore. Coach Lisa has us on freedom for eating this month because it's July and it's Independence Day for the U.S. And so I've just been still carnivore, but eating, not following a particular menu, just eating. And she also had me backing off on exercise. Now, I ended up downloading an app. Okay, I'm going to grab my phone here so I can tell you what it is. It is called Dance Fit Me, and I paid the $47 for the year, and it's cancelable anytime. But it's a daily dance fitness workout that's like 20 minutes. And it goes through and it asks you a whole bunch of information about yourself, your height, your weight, your age, what your goals are, what your current level of activity is. Do you ever know how to dance? Are you a beginner? And whatever. So I answered all the questions. This is going to be interesting because it claims I'm going to weigh 160 pounds by November of this year. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. Anyways, we'll see what happens. But they say if I do their workout every day. And so I downloaded it 2 days ago and I've done it both days. So I'm going to just keep doing this and see what happens. But I'm going to go over my results. I know I'm yammering on like crazy, but I'm going to go over my results because I'm going to have to do more than just this. Okay, let's get to the results. And I have been feeling pretty good. I'm feeling better than I was the last few weeks. So not so many dizzy spells. Things are definitely improving. Okay, so let's get to the results from my weigh-in this morning. So I weighed in at 207 even, which is 1 pound down from last week. And I'm actually very delighted about that because I literally have not been keeping track of anything that I eat. I've just been eating whenever I feel like it. And again, all meat. I am not doing dairy. And other than church yesterday, I did not have any coffee. So just drinking water straight, no electrolytes, just straight water. So I'm happy that I lost a pound, and I'm glad I could actually feel that I lost some weight. And honestly, when I actually feel like I've lost weight, I love to see what's going on with my visceral fat because I'm feeling emptier inside. And I look and see the visceral fat went down a pound. It has been so long since my visceral fat has dropped another pound. So it's at 13, which is not even acceptable. So ideal is, I think, 5 or under. Acceptable for my age height is 11. And so, but I started at 30. You look at there, I started at 30. So I have gotten more than halfway. I've lost plenty of visceral fat. I'm very happy. I'm definitely glad I've lost 17 pounds of visceral fat, which is amazing. So I only have 2 more to go to get into the acceptable range. I am really interested to see if that impacts my metabolic age, because my metabolic age is always 7 years older than my actual age. So when I started this at 55, my metabolic age was 62. When I turned 56, it went to 63. When I turned 57, it went to 64, and it's hanging out at 64 right now. So I'm having to be patient. And as these numbers get into line, I am going to be watching that metabolic age. It had better come down because I have been so patient for over 2 years. I'm going to be celebrating when I finally get it to go down. But I'm just glad that finally I've lost another pound of visceral fat, and hopefully the last 2 are going to come off. It usually takes me at least a month to get a pound of visceral fat off. If I worked out like crazy, it would probably be faster. But when I work out like crazy, I'm in too much pain. So I just have to be patient and wait. So my fat-free body weight, I did come down in fat-free body weight by 0.4, and by 0.2. And so when I take a look at the breakdown on that, I'm not very happy because I lost 0.4 of muscle, which tells me I haven't been using my muscles enough. I shouldn't be overly surprised because I have been doing a lot of reading, and because I have been having issues with, just trying to recover from overdoing it. I've been more sedentary than I usually am. And so I am not moving, I'm not using my muscles as much. So I lost 0.4 pounds of muscle. Not happy, but if you look, and I'll put a picture somewhere with the actual scale from my Renfo app, my muscle mass for my height and my age is still on the high end. So I'm okay. I don't like losing muscle, but I'm still okay. My muscle, let's see. So 116 is where it's at. Normal is 80.4 to 93.6 for my age. So I still have a lot of muscle. So I kind of go back and forth whether to be concerned about it or not. But Coach Lisa told me not to be worried if I lose muscle, but I still have a tendency to want to worry. Just like, if the scale goes up, we're stuck in our heads to worry. But yeah, so I'm trying to just not worry. But I do watch it. I want to see what's going on. With the muscle loss, my metabolic rate also came down lower than it's been in for a long time. It's 1578, and it was hanging around in the 1590s. Then when I had my birthday and turned 57, it went into the 1580s. So I know that this scale is calculating things and factoring age into it. And so because of that, I don't know how much I can really rely on it. Because literally nothing changed in my life except for a birthday, and my metabolic rate went down. Now, between last week and this week, I didn't have a birthday. So it went from 1582 down to 1578. But with losing muscle, that makes sense, because the more muscle you have, the better your metabolic rate is supposed to be. So it's something I'm just watching. I'm not obsessing over it or anything. I'm just watching it because, literally I started out with my metabolic rate at 1331. So it is more than 200 points higher than I started out with. So still much better for sure. But these are just kind of some things I take a look at when I'm looking at the breakdown of my fat-free body weight. So 0.4 of that was muscle, but my bone has stayed the same for a long time. It's at 7.4, but it did start out at 5.8. So I started out on the low, being low as far as bone density. Right now, I'm right smack in the middle of normal. So I'm pretty excited about that. Alrighty. And so, sorry, my screen went, I don't know why my screensaver keeps going on during these. It's going, hello, you're taking too long. So if I look at, I lost 0.2 fat-free body weight, but I gained and I lost 0.4 of muscle, that means that my fluid is up by 0.6. So for some reason I'm retaining fluid. So not sure why. I don't feel inflamed, but you know, it's been really warm out. I don't know if I'm drinking a lot of fluid or retaining fluid because of the heat. I'm one of those people that tends to swell when it's hot, and like I'll get some temperature induced edema. And fortunately, I don't have any right now. I was just checking my feet yesterday and no edema, so that's good. But I don't know if I may be having some fluid retention because of the heat, which would not be unusual for me. So not too worried about it. I'm okay with it. So those are basically, okay, those are my results for this week. So from the very beginning, I have lost, the scale loss is 132.6 pounds. And I have gained 25.4 pounds of good tissue. So that means that my actual fat loss since the beginning is 157.8 pounds, which is incredible. Like it's going on 160 pounds of actual fat loss. My goal weight, now this is maybe a pipe dream for me, but my goal weight is 160. So that would be pretty incredible if I ever got down to 160 pounds. And that's considered a normal weight for my height, 5'8". And for, I think it's kind of midline, right in the middle of what would be a normal weight, or maybe towards the upper end of normal for my height. Because I think the normal starts at about 140 or 145 pounds, which for me is way too thin. So with all the, like the excess skin and everything, I figure maybe if I can get to 160, that'd be great. But if not, I'm okay. I'm not going to obsess over the scale. I really just am curious to see if my weight will ever get there. That's where that app, that dance app says I'm going to get by November, 160 pounds. Yeah, good luck. We'll see what happens. But oh my goodness, if it does, great. I'll be promoting that app like crazy if it actually happens, but we'll see. I'm going to be a cynic in this area. Okay, so since the very beginning, which was May of 2023, I've gained 23.8 pounds of muscle, 1.6 pounds of bone, and as of this week, my overall water fluid loss gain has been zero, net of a zero. So anyways, that's my update for this week, and I'm looking forward to my trip. And we have so much to do just to get our house finished, get our house ready to put on the market. You know, we've been working on it for a while, so we're getting there. But pretty excited to see what happens if we get this property. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be quite a ride, and a lot of home improvement projects, and a lot of exercise for sure, and just a lifestyle change. And so I think I'm ready for it. I would not have been ready, like I said 2 years ago, but I think I'm ready for it now. Okay, that's it for this week. I hope everybody is having an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.